Hello, everybody. Buenos dias. This is Austin Lang with Essential Spanish, and today I've got an A2 lesson for you guys called The Happy Grasshopper, El Saltamontes Feliz. So I'll have a list here of 14 words for you guys. There'll be 4 verbs, 4 nouns, 4 adjectives, and 2 adverbs. We will then use those words in sentences to get used to the vocabulary, to get some practice with it, and then I will give you a translation exercise from English to Spanish in which all of those words will be included in the text so we can really reinforce this vocabulary. So, without anything left to say, El Saltamontes Feliz. So, let's jump into our vocabulary. So, verbs to jump, saltar, to eat, comer, to look for, buscar, and to rest, descansar. Our nouns, field, campo, shade, sombra, leaf, hoja, and insecto. As we know, nouns in Spanish are gendered, but I'm sure you can, at this point, easily recognize and differentiate between. But just in case, it would be el campo, la sombra, la hoja, y el insecto. So our adjectives, small, pequeño, green, verde, tired, cansado, y happy, feliz. So again, remember our adjectives have to match our nouns. So we could have pequeño or pequeña. We could have cansado o cansada. With words like verde y feliz and happy, I'm sorry, with green and happy. Sorry, I'm in between two languages here. Verde y feliz, those aren't going to change, but they can be plural. So you could have verdes o felices. And with a Z in Spanish, the plural will change into a C, right? So you'll see that in the translation exercise. So adverbs, quickly, rápidamente, and always, siempre. So let's jump into these sentences. Number 1, Jose can jump quickly between the leaves. José puede saltar rápidamente entre las hojas. So pretty straightforward sentence here, but Jose can jump. José puede saltar quickly, rápidamente, between the leaves, entre las hojas. Number 2, the small insect looks for shade to rest. El insecto pequeño busca sombra para descansar. So, the small insect, el insecto pequeño, looks for shade, busca sombra to rest, para descansar. Here we see this buscar is nice because this for is contained inside this verb. And this to here is working as in order to. So we are looking for shade in order to rest, which brings this para. So el insecto pequeño busca sombra para descansar. Number 3, I always eat green leaves in the field. Siempre como hoja verde en el campo. So in Spanish, when we have the word always, it will it jumps to the front. So siempre como hoja verde en el campo, not como siempre hojas verdes en el campo. We're going to put that always up front. That's a little structural difference in between the two languages, but easy to adjust and get used to. So number 4, I'm very tired. I need to rest. Estoy muy cansado. Necesito descansar. So really straightforward. I'm very tired. Estoy muy cansado. Or if we're talking about a girl grasshopper or just a woman in general, estoy muy cansada. And then I need to rest. Necesito descansar. And at this level, I really would suggest focusing on those, necesitar, querer, tener que, acabar de, these more voy a, ira, como vas a, these modal verbs, because they really speed up your Spanish because you don't have to conjugate after them. So definitely something to stay aware of and keep practicing. So number 5, the field is full of happy insects. El campo está lleno de insectos. El campo está lleno de insectos felices. And as you can see, that Z right here turned into a CES for the plural form. So the field is full of, el campo está lleno de happy insects. Insectos felices. Okay, so go ahead and review those and let's jump to the translation exercise. So I'm going to read you the text in English first, and then we'll go paragraph by paragraph and then sentence by sentence in those paragraphs. There'll be 4 parts, but they're very doable. So let's get started. Jose is a small green grasshopper who lives in a big field. Every morning he jumps quickly between the tall grass, looking for fresh green leaves to eat. He always wakes up early and starts the day with energy. One day the sun was very hot and Jose felt tired. He stopped jumping and looked for some shade under a big leaf. There he found another insect, also resting. They started to talk and became friends. Jose told his new friend that he likes to eat, jump, and rest during the afternoon. He also said he always looks for new places in the field. His new friend smiled and said, "You are a happy insect." They spent the rest of the day together, jumping, eating, and resting. At sunset, Jose said goodbye and returned home under a tree. So, let's jump into it. So, with these parts, I definitely would suggest pausing the video and doing your best to translate what we have here. And as we know, this is a translation exercise, so if you have said something different than me, it very well may be correct. And if you have and are curious, please leave a comment and we can discuss it. So let's get started. So Jose is a small green grasshopper. So Jose es un saltamontes pequeño y verde who lives in a big field. Que vive en un campo grande. Every morning, cada mañana, he jumps quickly between the tall grass. Salta rápidamente entre el pasto alto, looking for fresh green leaves to eat, buscando hojas verdes y frescas para comer. He always wakes up early and starts the day with energy. Siempre, because remember, we see how always comes up first. Siempre se despierta temprano y starts the day with energy. Y empieza el día con energía. So, José es un saltamonte pequeño y verde que vive en un campo grande. Cada mañana salta rápidamente entre el pasto alto, buscando hojas verdes y frescas para comer. Siempre se despierta temprano y empieza el día con energía. You could also say here, siempre se levanta temprano. So, part 2. Let me go ahead and turn my language here. If I can create a shortcut to not have to do this every time, please let me know in the comments. So one day the sun was very hot. Un día el sol estaba muy fuerte, or you could say hacía mucho sol, but el sol estaba muy fuerte, and Jose felt tired. Y Jose se sintió cansado. We're going to talk about that right there at the end. So, because I think it's very tempting to say se sentía cansado, but we'll talk about it at the end. He stopped jumping, dejó de saltar, and looked for some shade under a big leaf. Y buscó sombra bajo una hoja grande. There, ahí, he found another insect. Encontró a otro insecto. We have this a here because we've personified the characters and it's like a person, right? So that's why the a. Also, there he found another insect also resting, que también descansaba. Or you could say que también estaba descansando, but que también descansaba. They started to talk and became friends. Empezaron a hablar y se hicieron amigos. Okay, so before I read it, I want to talk about this first sentence. So, un día el sol estaba muy fuerte y José se sintió cansado. So here, how I look at this, in my mind, I'm using the simple past, the se sintió, because it's not his, like, it's not saying that like, oh man, I felt really tired yesterday. Like me sentía como cansado. But this is that act of feeling tired, like, oof, I'm tired. Like the tiredness fell on him, and now because of that, he's gonna do other things, right? That act of like, man, I've been working, I'm tired. That isn't like, oh, I woke up late and I'm tired all day, right? So there is the difference. It's subtle, but for that reason, se sintió cansado, se sentía cansado, because we're talking about the moment in which he felt tired. It's a completed act. So I hope that's not I hope that's clear. But the most important thing is just to keep doing these exercises, and these distinctions will become more and more clear automatically. But un día el sol estaba muy fuerte y José se sintió cansado. Dejó de saltar y buscó sombra bajo una hoja grande. Ahí encontró a otro insecto que también descansaba. Empezaron a hablar y se hicieron amigos. Part 3. Go ahead and turn on my Spanish here. And really, again, I really do recommend and encourage you guys to pause the video and try to translate these parts. So Jose told his new friend he likes to eat, jump, and rest during the afternoon. So Jose le dijo, this is the redundant le we'll talk about at the end, le dijo su nuevo amigo que le gusta comer, saltar y descansar por la tarde. Durante la tarde, pero por la tarde. He also said, también dijo, que siempre, remember, he always looks for new places in the field, right? We move that siempre up front. Siempre busca nuevos lugares en el campo. His new friend smiled. Su nuevo amigo sonrió y dijo, you are a happy insect. So do you think this is going to be ser or star in this sense? Well, for me, it's going to be ser. Eres un insecto muy feliz. And I think that because we're not talking about how he feels in that moment, but rather his identity as a very happy insect. So ser, Spanish Paul always says identity. It has to do with identity. I think that's a really good way to think about it. So before I read it, let's talk about this redundant ley right here. So in Spanish, when you have a verb that it's like I said to him, I called to him, I gave to him, that feeling of to someone, you will see this redundant ley, because it is redundant, because it would be like saying Jose to his new friend said to his new friend that. That would be what you're literally saying. But this is just, it's a grammatical principle in Spanish called the redundant ley. Spanish with Paul teaches it real well, so check out his course for sure. And so where I live, we really use it a lot. It's something you get used to really easy because you'll see it all the time. But I would even say we might overuse it where I live, because I noticed that other speakers from other Spanish-speaking countries don't always use it with some of the verbs we use it on. But with decir, it will be used always. They will always use it. So just something to stay aware of. And when you see that structure, just let your mind make a note of it, and you shouldn't have too much trouble if you keep doing that. So José le dijo a su nuevo amigo que le gusta comer, saltar y descansar por la tarde. También dijo que siempre busca nuevos lugares en el campo. Su nuevo amigo sonrió y dijo, eres un insecto muy feliz. And finally, part 4, let me turn on my Spanish. So they spent the rest of the day together. Pasaron, you can say ellos pasaron, but we know who we're talking about. So pasaron el resto del día juntos, because remember, of the day, so de and el become del. So pasaron el resto del día juntos. Jumping, saltando. Eating, comiendo. And resting, y descansando. At sunset, al atardecer, great chunk right there, Jose said goodbye. Jose se despidió and returned home under a tree. Y volvió a casa, or you can say regresó a casa. We use volver where I'm at. bajo, oh, you could say, let's use debajo de un árbol. So, pasaron el resto del día juntos, saltando, comiendo y descansando. Al atardecer, José se despidió y volvió a casa debajo de un árbol. So, real good job. I hope that you've paused the video and tried to translate these things, and hopefully you haven't had too much issue. And if you have in some places, I hope it makes sense. Why? Because that's half the battle. So now let's go ahead. I'm going to read you the Spanish text completed. So I would suggest closing your eyes and listening and letting your mind identify the words that we've learned today. So, José es un saltamontes pequeño y verde que vive en un campo grande. Cada mañana salta rápidamente entre el pasto alto, buscando hojas verdes y frescas para comer. Siempre se despierta temprano y empieza el día con energía. Un día el sol estaba muy fuerte y José se sintió cansado. Dejó de saltar y buscó sombra bajo una hoja grande. Ahí encontró a otro insecto que también descansaba. Empezaron a hablar y se hicieron amigos. José le dijo a su nuevo amigo que le gusta comer, saltar y descansar por la tarde. También dijo que siempre busca nuevos lugares en el campo. Su nuevo amigo sonrió y dijo, eres un insecto feliz. Pasaron el resto del día juntos, saltando, comiendo y descansando. Al atardecer, José se despidió y volvió a su casa debajo de un árbol. So fantastic. I think here I want to fix this. Oh, I have it. Volvió a casa. I thought I forgot the ah. So, really great job. So really focus on those 14 words, and you can pull out, different chunks and phrases from the text. So that le dijo a would be maybe, or to stop, dejó de, whatever you want, whatever stands out to you, apart from the vocabulary, whether it be phrases, el resto del día, the rest of the day, things like that. So I know you hear a lot of people say that, oh, don't translate. But the reality is that I've found, because my whole life happens in Spanish. I live in Barranquilla with my wife. She's learning English, but we only speak Spanish in our relationship. Her family speaks Spanish. That no one speaks English around me fluently, as a native or, a solid second language. So I found that I got to the point where I didn't have to translate anymore in my head because I got so good at doing translation exercises. I just would do them again and again and again. So, that's my perspective. You should make use of anything that helps you. You don't limit yourself with resources because someone said you only need comprehensible input. You need comprehensible input. Or they say don't translate. Well, you need translation. You need just all the parts. So I won't get too deep into my my philosophy on learning a language, but all you have to do is watch a kid learn their native language. They read, they watch TV, they listen, they do everything, they do the work. So we will have to do the same if we want to speak a second language well. So great job. I hope you learned something, and this is me and my brother-in-law. I'm sure you can tell which one of us is native of Colombia. And so if you would like to schedule a formal lesson with me and do, exercises like we did here, I have some other stuff, please email me at essentialspanish101@gmail.com. Or if you're just interested in continuing to watch these lessons, I'll post them 5 days a week. Check out my YouTube at Essential Spanish. I also post shorts with Family Guy clips teaching different phrases with both the English and Spanish subtitles. So, if that's something that may interest you, please check it out. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you, and have a good rest of your day.